When Charlie Kirk whispered those final words to a close aide, "If anything happens to me, look into France," no one had a clue what he meant. But now, Candace Owens claims she's finally cracked the code. This isn't just about Turning Point USA. It isn't even just about Charlie's mysterious passing. It's about an international secret buried beneath layers of global power, media silence, and one woman at the center of it all. Brigitte Macron. Now the internet is on fire. Candace Owens says Charlie uncovered something too dangerous to speak out loud, and right before his death, he left behind encrypted files, coded phrases, and a warning that's beginning to make horrifying sense. From Paris to D.C., this conspiracy runs deep, and Candace is about to blow it wide open. If what she's saying is true, Charlie didn't just die with secrets, he died because of them. Number Charlie K. knew, number Brigitte files, number Candace exposes. It started with a slip, a half-deleted tweet from a burner account that referenced Madame M, and a code, number F. 27GM. Nobody paid attention at first. It looked like gibberish, just another random drop in the sea of conspiracy noise. But when that tweet vanished 3 minutes later and was immediately followed by a post from Candace Owens captioned, "Now it all makes sense," Charlie knew. The internet shifted. The comment section turned into a battlefield. People dug into archives, pulled screenshots, and searched for connections between Charlie Kirk and one of the most powerful women in Europe, Brigitte Macron, France's First Lady. The theory seemed crazy, too wild, too dangerous, until Candace Owens went live. Her stream opened with an image no one expected, Charlie Kirk at a conference in 2019 Paris. Few remembered that trip. It wasn't widely covered, no media headlines, no social media fanfare. But Candace played a clip from that event. In it, Charlie stood stiffly during a Q&A. A French reporter asked him a strange question. "What is your opinion of Madame Macron's education reforms?" He laughed it off. But now, re-watching the clip, his eyes weren't laughing, they were calculating, almost afraid. Candace stared into the camera. Her voice was low, measured. He knew something buried behind the smiling photos and PR handshakes, something about her past, about her real identity. "And now I have the proof." Within minutes, number Charlie K. knew and number Brigitte files started trending worldwide. Candace said it began with a flash drive one Charlie gave to a mutual friend just days before his death. That friend, scared, sat on the information for months. Until now. Candace claimed the drive contained emails, private correspondence between Charlie and a European journalist named Sébastien Leclerc. The messages were cryptic, laced with code words and timestamps, but one thing was clear. They were investigating something about Brigitte Macron's early life, and the people around her were getting nervous. In one email, Charlie wrote, "They're rewriting timelines. Her school records don't match. The headmaster vanished in '98. Seb. This isn't just tabloid drama. This is intelligence-level cover-up." The word intelligence hit hard. People began unearthing old documents. A forum in Eastern Europe claimed that Brigitte Macron's maiden identity was sealed by presidential order in 2003. Why? No clear reason, just national security interest. Then came a name, René Langlois, a former intelligence officer turned whistleblower, who alleged that France's First Lady was not who she claimed to be, and those who looked too closely were either silenced or disappeared. Candace showed a clip of Langlois from an old interview. She was not a teacher. She was a messenger, groomed, chosen, connected to something far larger. The clip had been removed from the internet in 2020. Candace's copy had a watermark, restricted, Euro Intel files. People online lost it. And then she dropped a detail no one could ignore. The number Charlie had written on a napkin during a podcast taping, one that had never aired, F27GM, was an exact match for a restricted code assigned to a classified French archive, dated 1989. The topic? Operation Marie. The subject? Civil Identity Transformation Protocol. Candace looked at the camera with fire in her eyes. This wasn't just politics. This wasn't just optics. This was control. And Charlie died trying to tell us. She followed that with images of Charlie in France with a French journalist who, just months later, was declared missing under mysterious circumstances. Candace didn't name the man, but the initials on his briefcase in the photo, S. L. Sébastien Leclerc. Coincidence? The internet said no. Reddit threads exploded. TikTok creators reenacted the alleged timeline. One Twitter thread that went mega viral laid out the whole conspiracy in 24 screenshots, ending with, "They erased Sébastien, and they tried to erase Charlie too." Meanwhile, French media stayed silent. The Élysée Palace released no statement. But Brigitte Macron's official Instagram account turned off comments. That only added fuel to the fire. Back on Candace's livestream, she dropped one final twist. "Do you remember the scandal they tried to shut down? The one about Brigitte being accused of hiding her birth identity, the transgender rumor? The media said it was debunked. They said it was a hoax. But what if that rumor was planted as a shield to distract from the real issue hiding underneath?" Then she paused. What if the lie was meant to kill the truth? People couldn't breathe. And just when they thought it was over, she played Charlie's voice from a never-before-heard audio clip. "They think they've covered it up, but if this ever goes public, they'll blame it on fringe politics. Just don't let them tell you I didn't try." The world cracked open. Candace ended the stream without a goodbye. Just black screen. Silence. Then, a post. Number Brigitte cover-up. Number Charlie spoke. Number France K knew. Number Candace exposes. Number Macron files. At Candace Owens. At Joe Rogan. The internet didn't sleep that night. Screens across the world stayed lit, glued to Candace Owens' stream, paused on one frame. The final words Charlie Kirk ever recorded about Brigitte Macron. The line, "Don't let them tell you I didn't try," echoed across timelines, reaction channels, and voiceover breakdowns. That sentence was clipped, remixed, and turned into a slogan. It was printed on t-shirts, pinned to Twitter, X bios, and spray-painted outside the French embassy in Washington. The narrative had shifted. Charlie wasn't just a political commentator anymore. He was being rebranded overnight as a truth martyr. And the woman he may have died exposing? France's most public secret. Candace Owens promised Part 2 would drop hard, and she delivered. The second episode of her exposé opened with security footage from a hotel in Paris, dated March 2019. It showed Charlie walking into a private conference room with two unidentified men in suits. The video quality was grainy, but Charlie's silhouette was unmistakable. Candace froze the frame and zoomed in, a briefcase in Charlie's hand. The same one seen in photos from his last trip to Europe. Then she played a second clip, leaked by a whistleblower from inside French security. This one showed Charlie leaving that room alone, visibly shaken, walking quickly, and looking over his shoulder. He stopped briefly, looked straight at the camera, and mouthed something. Candace slowed the clip down, frame by frame. "Tell her." The chat lost it. Who? Who's her? Was he talking about Candace? Or Brigitte? Candace didn't say. She just moved forward. She dropped a new document, a passport application from 1983, issued under the name Brigitte Trogneau. The problem? That document listed a birth date that conflicted with the one on file today, by 7 years. And the signature? A handwriting expert Candace brought on said it didn't match later documents at all. Then came the kicker. A teacher's certificate from 1985, registered under Brigitte's maiden name, had been retracted and destroyed in 2001 under what was called Ministerial Protocol of Identity Closure. This type of action, Candace explained, was only taken for witness protection, high-ranking military operatives, or spouses of intelligence assets. Why would a literature teacher need protection under national intelligence laws? She asked. The chat exploded. People weren't asking if the story was true anymore, they were asking how deep it went. Candace then revealed the nickname Charlie, allegedly used for Brigitte, in his encrypted files. Madame V. According to a leak from someone close to the French archives, V stood for Vendetta, referencing a Cold War-era French intelligence program tied to Eastern European identity swaps during the 1980 seconds. These programs, Candace claimed, were used to embed individuals inside political families, and later, into global networks. In simpler terms, Charlie believed Brigitte wasn't just hiding her past, she was built for it. The implications were insane. Candace dropped another bombshell, a voice memo from Sébastien Leclerc, recorded days before he vanished. In it, he warned, "Tell Charlie to stop. He's too close. They already found my apartment. If I vanish, it wasn't random. It was her." The crowd watching the stream froze. The her wasn't named, but by now, the audience didn't need it spelled out. Then Candace did the unthinkable. She played a voicemail from Charlie, previously unreleased. It was short, frantic, and whispered, "She's not who they think. Look at the boarding school records. Leclerc found it. Check 1982. It's all in that year." Immediately, Reddit detectives swarmed French archives. It didn't take long. A single record surfaced from a now-defunct Catholic boarding school once rumored to house the children of political operatives and dignitaries under pseudonyms. One name stuck out: Marie-Eveline Bourdet. The student had no public trace before 1989. Candace highlighted it. That name? Registered under a closed identity order. Birthplace? Amiens, Brigitte Macron's hometown. Candace leaned in close. Marie-Eveline Bourdet was erased. Brigitte Trogneau appeared. Same town, same year, same birthday. Coincidence? The internet said, impossible. Meanwhile, French state media released a cryptic statement, not naming Candace or Charlie, but warning against harmful disinformation targeting the families of elected officials. That subtle threat only made things worse. The public took it as a sign they were scared. Then, another detail surfaced. A copy of Charlie's final itinerary, filed days before his death. On the final page, an odd note written in his own handwriting. If they ask why, tell them. Madame V met with the Americans. The implications were staggering. Who did she meet? Was she acting on behalf of France or as part of something else entirely? Candace dropped the name of a retired French diplomat now living in the U.S., who had reportedly met Charlie off-record a year before his death. According to a leaked memo, that meeting was tense, emotional, and involved Brigitte's early role in media psychology training. Training? Media psychology? The theory began to unfold. Candace explained that during the late 80s, French intelligence had partnered with experimental programs to train select individuals in influence, charisma, manipulation, and political grooming. The goal? Shape public opinion, mold entire populations, create assets who could walk into politics not through elections but through marriage. Brigitte, she claimed, was one of them. Her role? Groom, guide, and anchor a political figure destined for leadership. Emmanuel Macron. People couldn't believe it. The idea that France's First Lady was more than just a former teacher but instead a psychological engineer handpicked to mold a president? It sounded wild, unreal. But the receipts were piling up. Candace ended the episode with one last quote from Charlie's encrypted file. Madame V was never the First Lady. She was always the handler. Fade to black. And just like that, the conspiracy turned global. Number Madame V. Number Brigitte Truth. Number Charlie Canu. Number Macron Files. Number Owens Uncovered. Number Handler Not Wife. At Candace Owens. At Elon Musk. At Joe Rogan. Within hours of Candace Owens dropping the handler theory, the world turned upside down. The phrase, "she was always the handler," became more than just a quote. It became a movement. Twitter X went wild with reaction threads. TikTok creators dramatized scenes of Madame V whispering into Macron's ear while Charlie watched from the shadows. YouTube exploded with side-by-side comparisons of Brigitte Macron's speeches, analyzing her tone, body language, even her eye movement. Suddenly, what once sounded like a far-right conspiracy was now dominating mainstream discourse. But it didn't stop there. Candace promised a receipts-only bonus stream, and when she went live, the internet buckled. Her first reveal? A censored intelligence dossier, leaked from a source allegedly connected to French counterintelligence. She couldn't show the full doc, but what she could show sent chills down every viewer's spine. In the redacted file was a line under the header, Operation Marie Vendetta. It read, "Subject has fulfilled grooming phase. Integration into French domestic sphere complete. Handler status confirmed. Psychological assets intact." Right below that? Advisory. Maintain subject proximity to target. Long-term control required for stability. Target. Emmanuel Macron. Candace paused. Then she looked into the camera, fire in her eyes. They're not married for love. They're married for control. The live chat exploded with emojis, hashtags, and sheer disbelief. But Candace wasn't done. She played a clip of Charlie Kirk speaking at a small private gathering in 2021. The footage had never aired publicly. In it, he said, "The media is no longer just biased, it's programmed. And I don't mean metaphorically, I mean literally. Controlled by psychological ops planted decades ago. Some of those ops married presidents. That quote alone caused a digital earthquake. People began revisiting old interviews of Brigitte and Emmanuel. The age gap. The way he always paused to let her speak first. The way he answered when she was interrupted. It was no longer seen as respect now. It looked like conditioning. One viral video racked up 13 million views in 48 hours. It was titled, Macron or Marionette? And then Candace dropped a recording that shook every corner of the internet. She claimed it came from an anonymous French journalist. In the tape, a man's voice, possibly Sébastien Leclerc, speaks in a rush. "They're watching me now. But you must know." Charlie had proof. Real proof. Boarding school files. Brigitte wasn't Brigitte until 91. She was Marie-Eveline until they buried the past. You don't change names that high up without intelligence clearance. You don't erase a life unless it was never meant to be found. Candace froze the stream. "Now tell me, are we still calling this a conspiracy?" The internet answered with hashtags. Number erase the handler. Number Macron puppet. Number Marie-Eveline exposed. In the chaos, French officials released a carefully worded denial. Madame Macron's background is well documented and public. We will not indulge baseless rumors driven by political hysteria. But the statement only made things worse. People began flooding Brigitte's social media accounts. Every photo from the 1,980 seconds was dissected, faces blurred, friends unnamed. A few accounts even claimed her university yearbooks had mysteriously disappeared from French archives. And then another layer of the puzzle snapped into place. Candace revealed a chain of emails between Charlie and a U.S. intelligence contact, codenamed Talon. The subject line: Asset marriage. EU high risk. In the emails, Charlie shared concerns that a European leader was being psychologically influenced by a handler placed inside his inner circle. Talon's response was chilling. Confirmed. This operation isn't new. It's just well hidden. France is the last domino. If they fall, others will come clean. The implications were massive. If this was true, Charlie Kirk had uncovered not just a personal secret but an international deep state project to control elections, personalities, and entire nations through strategic marriages. Brigitte Macron wasn't just hiding her name. She was hiding her mission. Candace ended her stream with a final claim. Charlie had been warned. She played an audio clip, distorted to protect the source. A man's voice says, he was told to drop it 3 times. Paris, D.C., Zurich. They said if he didn't back off, something would happen. He didn't back off. Suddenly, Charlie's mysterious passing didn't feel so mysterious anymore. Twitter, X Spaces, went live with 50,000 plus listeners at a time. Reddit threads posted 100 slide evidence packs. Telegram channels claimed they'd found new surveillance footage. Even Elon Musk jumped into the conversation, tweeting, "The media's silence on Candace Owens is louder than any denial." In response, Brigitte Macron canceled a planned keynote speech at the UN Women's Conference. No explanation, no video, just silence. French media downplayed it. American media called it dangerous speculation. But the internet wasn't buying it. A new viral thread posted screenshots of Macron's earliest political speeches, where Brigitte stood backstage, nodding subtly at key moments, timing his emotional shifts with disturbing consistency. One tweet read, "She's not a wife, she's a director." This was her performance all along. And in the deepest corners of the internet, new names emerged. Alleged operatives, former classmates who vanished. A nun who ran the boarding school in the 1,980 seconds, disappeared in 2003, never seen again. Candace Owens promised there was more. She ended the stream with one sentence, "We have one more file." Charlie's final encrypted message. It's being decrypted as we speak. Black screen, then a flicker, then 5 chilling words. She isn't who you think. Number, Marie-Eveline. Number, Macron handler. Number, Charlie Kanu. Number, Candace unlocks. Number, France files. Number, Brigitte truth. At Candace Owens. At Joe Rogan. At Elon Musk. The message had 5 words. She isn't who you think. That line displayed at the end of Candace Owens' broadcast shattered what little was left of the online restraint. It wasn't a theory anymore. It was a war cry. Twitter turned into a battlefield. TikTokers filmed their live reactions in real time, crying, screaming, and whispering that Charlie Kirk's encrypted voice had just changed everything. The footage wasn't flashy. It was grainy, dark, and sounded like it came from an old hotel room or safe house. But the voice there was no denying it. It was Charlie. Clear, shaky, afraid. "I've got the last pieces. If you're seeing this, I didn't make it. I couldn't go public, not yet. But the files are in play now." She was never Brigitte. Not really. They created her. Ask the Americans. They helped. That single clip was replayed over 140 million times in under 24 hours. And then boom, number created not born started trending. Candace came back online with a new stream titled The American Involvement. Her tone was different, now slower, colder, like even she was starting to fear the size of the beast they'd awoken. She revealed that the final piece of Charlie's encrypted message had been deciphered. It was a GPS coordinate somewhere in Montana, deep in an off-grid facility, registered under a shell corporation linked to, wait for it, a former French-American diplomatic exchange program. On paper, the program was a leadership incubator. In reality, Candace said it trained personality architects, groomers, handlers, elite influencers built to mold future politicians. Charlie called it the mother cell, she said. The place where the first generation of control partners were designed. And then she dropped a nuclear bomb. The program's founding sponsor? The Rockefeller Foundation. The crowd lost it. Within minutes, independent researchers found funding records from the late 80s showing a now defunct branch of the foundation investing in cross-cultural behavioral conditioning initiatives. The phrasing was vague, but when paired with Charlie's note and Brigitte Macron's suddenly questionable origins, it became fuel for a digital inferno. Owens read another line from Charlie's final email. They moved her to Amiens to construct the backstory. The original family doesn't exist. Paper only. Her brother? Created after 1993. Look at the photos. Look at the metadata. They're digital composites. And just like that, people started analyzing Brigitte's family photos. Redditors broke down the pixels, lighting inconsistencies, even shadow angles. A viral YouTube video titled Fake Family, Brigitte's Digital Past, racked up 20 million views in 3 days. In it, a French graphics expert explained, these images are not consistent with film photography from the 70 seconds or 80 seconds. They appear to be digitally backdated, a full identity reconstruction. The implications were chilling. Meanwhile, the French government doubled down, calling Candace's content misinformation terrorism and threatening legal action. But the more they tried to silence the conversation, the louder it got. One journalist from the UK's Daily Mail dropped a bombshell tweet. "I've seen the classified files. If Candace is bluffing, it's the best bluff in modern history." But she's not bluffing. France cancelled all public appearances of Brigitte Macron for the following week. When pressed, the French press secretary simply said, "Madame Macron is recovering from exhaustion." No one bought it. Then came the Interpol leak. Anonymous hackers posted screenshots of internal memos between French and American intelligence, dated 2016. In them, analysts discussed the unconfirmed exposure risk of Brigitte's past. One note read, "If Kirk continues probing, containment may require escalation. Eyes on Owens as secondary influencer. Containment. Escalation. Owens." Candace held up the memo, her voice trembling. "This wasn't just about Charlie. They were watching me before he even died." The crowd fell silent. She dropped her final bomb of the night, a photo from inside the Montana facility. Grainy. Blurry. But in the center of the room, clearly visible, was a young woman's portrait. Black and white. Blonde. Familiar. A label underneath. Marie-Eveline B. Phase 1 complete. And next to it, a file marked Macron Introduction Protocol 1991. That image lit the internet on fire. If true, it meant everything Candace and Charlie had been building toward was real. Brigitte Macron didn't just marry into power. She was installed into the life of a rising French political star, molded to control him. Candace stared into the lens. "And you still think this is about a teacher who fell in love with her student?" The comments section exploded. "She's CIA coded. This is Manchurian Candidate level." Charlie was silenced for this. France has a puppet first lady. Handler confirmed. Across YouTube, creators began uploading documentaries. One went viral. The First Lady Who Never Was. It connected dots between Brigitte's timeline, missing records, manipulated photographs, erased classmates, and the psych training center in Montana. Within 48 hours, That single video hit 42 million views. But while the internet cheered Candace, government forces weren't staying quiet anymore. France issued a formal diplomatic complaint to the US, demanding coordinated action to suppress destabilizing conspiracy narratives. The White House press secretary refused to comment. And then suddenly Candace's Twitter account went dark for 4 hours. No posts, no streams, no updates. People panicked. Some believed she had been taken offline. Others feared she'd been silenced. Where is Candace trended globally. Protesters gathered outside the French consulate in New York and LA. Crowds held signs. She spoke, "Don't erase her." And then just before midnight her account returned with a video. Candace stood in front of an American flag. No makeup, no team, just her. "I'm not afraid." Charlie wasn't either. If they want to silence the truth, they'll have to shut down the whole internet. Because we're not stopping. We're not backing down. And we're not done. The final screen read, "The Handler Files." The world held its breath. Charlie K. knew. Brigitte Files. Handler confirmed. Owens uncensored. Marie Eveline. Control the Crown. Where is Candace? Macron is a figurehead. At Candace Owens. At Elon Musk. At Joe Rogan. When Candace Owens reappeared with that unfiltered video, her eyes tired, lips trembling, no glam, no edits, it didn't just go viral. It broke the algorithm. Across every platform, the numbers surged. Within 2 hours, it hit 58 million views. Within 12, it crossed 100 million. The world wasn't just listening now. The world was waking up. Her message was clear. They tried to erase Charlie. They tried to bury Sébastien. They tried to silence me. But this time, we finish what he started. And with that, Candace unveiled her most devastating evidence yet. A classified training manual, leaked from the Montana facility Charlie had tracked before his death. It was titled P2C, Partner to Control Protocol. Inside, over 180 pages of behavioral breakdowns, power imbalance exercises, grooming checklists, and on the last page, an assessment sheet labeled Subject, M.E. Bourdet. Handler role, confirmed. Control partner, E. Macron. Outcome, active. Viewers screamed in disbelief. But Candace wasn't done. She dropped another bomb. A photo of young Emmanuel Macron, no more than 15, sitting at a round table with older women, one of whom, viewers noted, looked strikingly like Brigitte, but with a different name tag, Eveline B. The image was stamped 1993. Internal Training Exchange. Candace zoomed in on the image. Macron was writing something. The name on the page? La Fabrique du Futur. Translation: The Factory of the Future. Candace stared straight into the camera. She didn't fall in love with him. She programmed him. And it wasn't just about France. It was about global psychological positioning. The live chat imploded. Candace's exposé was now officially beyond Brigitte. It wasn't just about her being a handler. It was about her being the prototype. The blueprint for what Charlie allegedly called spousal infiltration, a covert strategy to plant trained psychological assets into personal, intimate relationships with future political leaders. And France? That was just test case number 1. As proof, Candace pulled up travel records of the Montana facility. Between 1990 and 1999, at least 12 foreign nationals listed as educational interns had entered the U.S., stayed at the facility, and later disappeared from public records for 5+ years. Candace then revealed that 3 of those names resurfaced years later as spouses of sitting European politicians. The room fell silent. She paused. If this is true, Charlie didn't die trying to expose one first lady. He died trying to expose a global system. Then she played a voicemail. It was from Charlie. The timestamp. 3 days before his death. Candace, they told me to stop again. This goes beyond Brigitte. The handlers are already in place. France, Germany, even here. I think they're going to move soon. If I don't call you by Monday, you have to go live. Don't let them write the ending. The final word in the message? Bourdet. Candace clutched the microphone. Marie Eveline Bourdet. She was never erased. She was activated. Marie Eveline trended instantly. French officials issued a panicked response calling the theories cruel and baseless, but stopping short of denying the specific documents. Macron himself cancelled 3 press events. Brigitte was not seen for over 10 days. Then came the whistleblower wave. First, a retired staffer from the Montana program confirmed in a written statement. I remember the French girl. Quiet, intense. She wasn't there to learn. She was there to train. They told us she had a future in something bigger than elections. Next, a former TPUSA researcher leaked an internal email from Charlie, dated just 2 months before his death. Candace is the only one I trust to carry this if I can't. The Brigitte lead is the thread. Pull it, and the whole tapestry unravels. People began calling it the Brigitte thread. Memes exploded. Threads labeled, "Pull the thread," overtook Twitter, X. One clip slowed and zoomed of Brigitte Macron whispering something into Emmanuel's ear before a state address went viral with over 60 million views. The caption? Did she just give him the script? And then, the elite finally fought back. Brigitte Macron's lawyers announced a formal lawsuit against Candace Owens for global defamation, psychological harassment, and character assassination. French TV stations aired a joint segment painting Candace as an American destabilizer weaponizing trauma for profit. The European Commission released a statement accusing online platforms of allowing the spread of AI-enhanced political warfare. But Candace had receipts for that too. She posted a series of emails from a French journalist who claimed they'd been offered hush money to stop investigating Brigitte's early life. The most shocking message read, "The orders come from high up. You can criticize the president, but not the lady." The symbolism wasn't lost. Candace stared into the lens again. If that's true, then Brigitte is more than a first lady. She's a firewall. And Charlie was the hacker who got too close. The next day, global protests began. In Paris, thousands marched near the Élysée Palace with signs reading, "Show us Marie-Eveline. Unmask the program. Charlie deserves justice." In Washington, activists rallied outside the French embassy, chanting, "She's not the wife. She's the weapon." The United Nations called an emergency closed-door meeting about international digital destabilization and marital security threats. No resolution was made public, but journalists caught whispers in the hallway. They're scared. Really scared. And then, one more twist. The Truth Summit Candace Owens had been planning in Charlie's memory sold out in 37 minutes. Every speaker confirmed. And the opening keynote? Operation Marie. The truth they tried to erase. Candace promised one final drop. Charlie left a letter. Not an email. Not a voicemail. A real letter. Sealed and marked for release if anything happened to him. We just opened it. Fade to black. Number the final letter. Number Charlie lives through truth. Number Macron is not alone. Number Marie-Eveline unmasked. Number Candace delivers. Number spousal infiltration. Number Brigitte was built. Number control blueprint. Number handler files. At Candace Owens. At Joe Rogan. At Elon Musk. The envelope was thin. White. Handwritten. The ink slightly smudged. Sealed with a red wax stamp bearing the letters C.K. Charlie Kirk's initials. Candace Owens held it up to the camera, her voice trembling slightly as she said, "We've waited long enough." The room was silent. She sliced it open with a letter opener, slow, deliberate, heavy with the weight of a man's final words. Inside, 3 pieces of paper, yellowed, a bit wrinkled. Charlie's handwriting was unmistakable. She took a deep breath, then began to read. "If you're reading this, I'm gone. I knew this day would come, maybe not when. But I've felt them watching for months now. They don't want the truth out. But the truth always finds a way." The stream's chat box slowed. Everyone was watching, holding their breath. This wasn't just a leak anymore. This was his voice, his warning, his legacy. This didn't start in France. That's where the world will feel it first. But it began long before Brigitte. She's not the first, she's not the last. But she was the perfect case study, the perfect mask, chosen, groomed, and now, she controls the man who controls the country. She is the architect of the illusion. Candace paused. Her eyes welled up. The audience could feel it. This wasn't theater. This was grief fused with rage. The program goes by many names. You've seen it before: the leaders who shift overnight, the marriages that seem too perfectly timed, the spouses who whisper but never speak in public. They're not lovers, they're handlers. They call it Operation Mirror, because the goal isn't to lead, it's to reflect what they want you to believe. The chat exploded. Number, Operation Mirror. Number, Charlie tried to warn us. Number, Brigitte was the prototype. Candace continued, hands shaking now. Marie-Eveline Bourdet was not born into power. She was built for it. The French didn't groom her alone. We helped. They call it a partnership. I call it psychological colonization. Brigitte was trained in obedience projection, emotional feedback manipulation, and leadership behavioral redirection. It sounds like sci-fi, but it's real, and it works. Macron didn't rise. He was raised by her. The third page was folded differently. Candace hesitated, then unfolded it, to reveal a list. A horrifying list. Names, dates, and cryptic initials. 1991 EM, France. 1994 HS, Canada. 1998 liters, T.UK. 2003 A. V. Italy. 2007 JN, Germany. 2010 D. P. U. S. Each one followed by a note. Handler, confirmed. Candace looked up, stunned. He was tracking every political spouse that matched the psychological profile. And these initials, they match. Harper's wife, Trudeau's, Merkel's personal assistant turned partner. Even someone tied to the Obamas. Charlie wasn't hunting Brigitte, he was hunting a system. The audience lost its mind. Comments raced in. She was never the mission. She was the trigger. They were planted. This is global. Then Candace reached the bottom of the letter. One final note, scrawled in messy ink. If anything happens to me, tell them this. Brigitte isn't hiding her past. She's hiding their future. The live chat froze. It was too much. Candace didn't speak for almost a minute. Then she whispered, "He wasn't just trying to warn us about France. He was warning us about the world we're already living in, the illusion we've accepted, the marriages we romanticize, the partnerships we never question. It's not just power couples. It's programmed control." People started crying on stream. Commentators went live immediately. At Real Political Radio. This is bigger than Nixon. Bigger than Epstein. At Exposed Files, we now know why he died. At Digital Dissenter, this makes MKUltra look like child's play. But the final blow came from a source no one expected. A former CIA liaison posted a cryptic tweet from a burner account, later verified through internal metadata. It's real. Charlie got close. Too close. Brigitte wasn't rogue. She was the flagship. And if Candace goes public with the final name, they'll escalate. Fast. Within minutes, Candace's email was flooded. Her team confirmed 3 cease and desist orders from unnamed global law firms and a temporary account lock on all her cloud backups. Too late. The files were already mirrored on blockchain. Uploaded to 10 decentralized servers, archived on the dark web. Shared in private Telegram groups across Europe and Asia. The truth was no longer a file. It was a weapon. Candace uploaded one last clip from Charlie's last video journal. Don't believe them when they smile. Don't believe them when they mourn. The lie looks like empathy now. But behind their eyes, it's always been programming. Then, blackout, the world screamed. Protests ignited in Paris, London, Berlin, Ottawa, New York. Posters of Brigitte with the word asset spray-painted across them were seen hanging from balconies in Marseille. A giant projection lit up the Eiffel Tower for 5 minutes before it was shut off. We know. Brigitte Macron finally broke her silence. In a nationally televised broadcast, she called the accusations vile, hateful, and fictitious, but refused to address the boarding school records, the Handler files, or the Montana training facility. Not a single denial of Marie-Eveline Bourdet. Not one. Her final line? I am who I say I am, and I will not answer to ghosts. Candace responded instantly on X. Charlie was no ghost. He was the mirror. And now, the reflection is shattering. Number Charlie warned us. Number Handler protocol. Number the mirror is cracked. Number Candace was right. Number Brigitte uncovered. Number we see you Marie. At Candace Owens. At Joe Rogan. At Elon Musk. At Real Alex Jones. So now, it's out there. Charlie Kirk's final warning. Candace Owens's relentless pursuit. The name Marie-Eveline Bourdet no longer hides behind carefully constructed timelines or PR-controlled narratives. The world watched as the mirror cracked and behind Brigitte Macron's perfectly curated image, a system of control, grooming, and manipulation was exposed. But this isn't just about one first lady, it's about a global structure that's been operating in the shadows for decades. Charlie tried to stop it. Candace refused to let it die. And now, it's your turn. Share this video. Comment your thoughts. Spread the truth they tried to erase. And make sure you're subscribed. Because if they tried to bury Charlie's legacy once, you better believe they'll try again. But this time, we're watching back. The reflection is broken and they can't hide behind it anymore. Number Charlie Canoe. Number Brigitte Files. Number We See You Marie. Number Candace Delivers.